What if it was possible to have local, fresh groceries delivered right to your door? Think of all the free time you'd have. Well, Instacart gives unlimited grocery delivery for one low monthly fee. Forgot that special ingredient in your favorite dish? Instacart can deliver it to your front door in as fast as 1 hour. You can shop multiple stores, see deals in your area, and save time and money. I've been using Instacart for over 3 years. I started using them in Arizona, and I'm using them here in Florida. I love the time-saving convenience. They pick the freshest products, and they keep my eggs safe too. To receive your first delivery free, follow the link in the show notes so that Instacart knows that we sent you and to help support the show. Instacart. Never step foot in a grocery store again. Welcome to Empowered Within, a soul-quenching, transformational podcast that will set your soul on fire through candid and inspiring conversations. Leading experts, celebrities, healers, and I share our journeys of how we've overcome challenges to living an empowered life from within. I'm your host, Jennifer Pilates. Welcome to another episode of Empowered Within. Well, hi there, and welcome to the show. I am excited to have with us our guest, Scott Aaron. Scott is award-winning online marketer, 3 times best-selling author, top podcaster and speaker, and the go-to specialist when it comes to building personal brands on LinkedIn. With 2 decades of work in leadership, sales training, lead generation, and marketing tactics, Scott has learned the importance of creating the life you deserve, the business that you love, and the impact the world needs. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Well, Jennifer, grateful and honored to be here and looking forward to the conversation.
Me too. Well, I'm honored because you have been incredibly vulnerable with some of your story that you've shared offline, and I'm hoping that you'll be willing to share that with our audience online because I know that that's going to bring so much compassion and empowerment to them through the journey that you've had.
Absolutely.
So I know life hasn't always been easy for you. Take me back to that pivotal moment that shifted the trajectory of your life, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, it was within about a 6-month time frame. I was a sophomore in college, so I was 19. And, looking back, some people are not equipped at that age to be on their own. I grew up in a very giving and loving household. And, I never really experienced quote unquote real world or real life outside of the bubble I grew up in. And when you're kind of thrusted into a somewhat of an adult role going off to college where, you're left to your own devices, classes are not required. They're mandatory. They're suggested that you go so you do well. But I'm also a big social person. I love people. I love being social, love having fun. And that got the best of me. So at the time, I was about to go back for my spring semester, my sophomore year. So this was going into my 4th semester, finished 3. And my parents said, "You're not going back. You're staying here. You're failing out. And you're going to have to figure out going to a community college or a local university here so you can, really figure out what you need to improve upon." And that was in December of 1998. And by May of 1999, the other part of my journey really shifted. And that was with my father, who had made some bad business decisions in a company that he was helping run. They ended up getting caught up in a $9.5 million insurance fraud case that ended up landing my father in federal prison for 2.5 years. So within a 6-month time period, my dream and goal of being away in college was flushed down the toilet. I had failed out. And one of the biggest inspirations and, people that I looked up to in my life was now pulled out of my family unit and now spending 2.5 years in federal prison. Now, not only was I having to refigure out my educational journey, what do I want to be when I grow up? I do believe that education is important. Do you have to graduate from college to succeed? No. I did. I ended up graduating with a bachelor's in HR from Temple University. But more importantly, my career path was kind of laid out in front of me, whether I liked it or not. Prior to my father getting sentenced to 2.5 years, he had purchased a fitness club in downtown Philadelphia. Fitness was a big passion of his. It still is to this day at 70 years old. He still competes in bench press contests around the world. And when he was going away, he said, listen, you're going to have to take over the family business. Not only did I have to refigure out my educational journey, I now had to figure out my professional journey at the very same time. So I had to grow up really, really fast. And I would say what enabled me to still continue down the path of my own self-education in college was the fact that I was in that professional world now, because it kind of gave me a track to run on. It gave me structure, but also the desire to consume information, to learn, but also to make my family proud. I have something to really look back on, the fact that, I was able to graduate college and help grow a successful family business in those 2.5 years that my father was gone. And that's something that I'm very, very proud of. But I would say the culmination of those two events in a 6-month time period was absolutely the pivotal moment in my life that again laid down the path in front of me to go down to get to where I am today.
That is such an amazing journey. What do you think was it that helped you truly keep it all together in those moments? Because I can only imagine being a young person going through all of that.
I think it was being a young person. At 19, I had no life experience. I had nothing to compare any experience to. I was only 1.5 years out of high school. I was a baby. So I think looking back, my age definitely attributed to the resilience that I had, because I had nothing to compare it to. It's not like I was working in the real world for someone else for a couple of years and, taking those bumps and bruises and buying a house and all that stuff. I didn't experience any of that at all. It was basically graduating from high school, spending 1.5 years away in college. Boom, now I'm running a business. So I think that the fact that I was so young enabled me to step into this role, because I was still at that mindset that I wanted to make my family proud. I was still living at home. I didn't move out till I was 22. So I was still in the nest. So when you're living in the nest, what do you want to do? You want to make those around you proud of you. And, you love being told and heard, you're doing great. Congratulations. Keep up the great work. So I think it was those things that fueled me and motivated me to not look at this as a negative situation. Just look at it as, what? This is the hand that I'm dealt. I have two options. I can crawl up in the corner in a little ball, or I can lean into this and make it work. That's what I decided to do.
And you did it so well. So
Thank
now
you.
Fast forward, best-selling author, the it man when it comes to LinkedIn. What today lights you up? What are you living for today? Are you ready to lose inches, increase strength, and tone your body from head to toe? Are you ready for a total body, mind, and spirit transformation? I am excited to announce that I am launching my exclusive 8-week Pilates Return to Life training program. This will give you an opportunity to have a total body, mind, and spirit transformation of health and wellness to a new lifestyle. Imagine in 7 days you will feel a difference, in 14 days you will see a difference, and in 8 weeks you will have your new Pilates body. So what do you say? Want to join me on the mat? Head over to jenniferpilates.com today. Space is limited. Use this special promo code EW and the word special, EW special, to receive $200 off while space is available. Head on over to jenniferpilates.com and I'll see you on the mat.
You know, my wife and I talk about this all the time, that you'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do. And we love what we do. And we want other people to love what they do. Now, that could mean various different things, right?
Right.
You know, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad, and that's what you love to do and that's what you would love to be, go for it. If you love working for another company just because of their values, their morals, their standards, their community, their culture, then love it. Or if it's running your own business and being your own boss and having your own company, you have to love what you do. And I think for us, it's knowing that everything that we've created under our company umbrella is following that strategy of defining a problem, providing a solution, getting someone a result. There is no better feeling than seeing others succeed with something that you've created on your own. And everything that my wife and I have created together that we now teach others how to do, all of those victories that we're constantly are being shared with us. I mean, it fills us more than anything, but we've enabled ourselves not only from a business standpoint to be very fulfilled, but from a personal standpoint, we live a very fulfilled life. And that's not tied to any sort of monetary accomplishment. You know, my wife and I had a goal a few years ago of living more and working less. And we've accomplished that. We work 3 days a week. We don't work 4 days a week. You know, we're very present and available for all those in our lives. We take as many mini vacations as we want. And that's what we want for other people. You know, the adage of living life by design is real. We can design life to look any which way you want. You just have to go for it. And knowing that where you are now is not a depiction of where you're going to be 12, 24, 36 months from now. It's a journey. And I can, you know, positively and confidently say with what we're doing right now and working on right now is a culmination of the years and years and years of things that we've been putting into place. And again, things may shift in the next year, 2 years. You're always evolving. What I live by is that the peak of one mountain is the valley of the next. So you're always climbing, you're always reaching, and showing other people how to do the same. That's what lights us up and has us doing what we're doing each and every day.
I love your mountain metaphor. It's so freaking true. It's so true. So how does that bring us all to LinkedIn? How did LinkedIn become this love of your life?
So I was in the health and wellness industry for 18 years. I started, obviously, going to the backstory in 1999. And in 2013, after owning and selling 2 gyms, opening a third, you know, going from making millions to losing millions, being in financial debt, losing a house, filing for personal bankruptcy, you know, multiple divorces along the way. There were a lot of ups and downs in that journey. I was asked one question in 2013 that really shifted my perspective of how I looked at doing business moving into the future. And remember, 2013 was the beginning of the uptick of leveraging social media to build a business. It was still, you know, new and unfamiliar to a lot of people. People were just used to trading time for dollars or having a brick and mortar or working for someone else. I had the brick and mortar, but also I had a sports nutrition counseling business, personal training, and everything else. But a friend of mine said, if you get sick or injured, or you can't get to the gym, you can't train people, the gym goes under, how are you going to earn money? And it got me thinking, like, they're right. You know, I've put myself in a very vulnerable situation where, God forbid, something happens to me, my monetary streams are completely cut off. And my son is going to be 11. He was only about a year old at this time when this question was asked to me. And it really got me thinking, okay, I need to look at other ways of generating business, other ways of generating income that doesn't require me to physically have to be there. This is what led me to looking into the online space, helping people with online workouts, online nutrition plans, other online wellness professionals how to do the same thing. And it was LinkedIn that afforded me to land on a platform that supported my needs in the business that I was looking to grow. I was looking at first to connect with business professionals that had the monetary means to invest in a premium price for someone like myself that was going to be providing them nutritional and workout regimens that could benefit their body, their mind, their soul, and their life. And that's where it initially started. And it quickly took off, where I was onboarding client after client after client. And I then had, I would say, the side effect from all of that is I had other wellness professionals reaching out to me that had heard about the success that I was having leveraging LinkedIn. And they were saying, can you teach me? Can you show me what you're doing? And I'm like, that's interesting. These people want to know what I'm doing. So one friend in particular reached back out to me after I told him what I was doing. So I didn't take any LinkedIn course. This was me being the entrepreneur that I was and still am, was, okay, there's a problem. I'm going to provide a solution. I'm going to get a result. So I was just building an organic strategy of what I was doing every day, taught it to a couple of friends. One reached back out and said, listen, we need to talk. So I got on the phone with him and I said, what's up? And he said, listen, he goes, I don't know what you figured out or what you're doing with LinkedIn, but it works. He goes, I have 14 appointments booked this week. He goes, I've never had that many appointments in 1 week before. He said, you should be teaching this. I said, what do you mean I should be teaching this? He goes, well, just like you teach people how to work out and eat better, why can't you teach other wellness professionals or other online coaches how to leverage LinkedIn the way that you are? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. He goes, shoot some videos and sell them for like $47. So this is back in 2013. So I had downloaded something called Zoom, which was unknown, 10 years ago. And I remember I was in my kitchen. I was in a 1-bedroom studio at the time, not really knowing about camera angles. So I had my laptop there. It was pointed straight up to the ceiling. So you see, like, from my chin to my head and the wood beams of the roof of my condo. And I shot a bunch of videos, uploaded them into a Google Drive file, and started selling them for $47. And people were paying for them. So at the same time, I ended up guesting on my business coach at the time, his podcast. And this is going back to the days of 1-800-conferencecall.com. This is when you would have to dial in some 18 long number, pound 3 or 4 times. And basically I was giving some tips and some strategies and some facts about why LinkedIn could really shift your business. And at the end of that interview, I hopped onto Facebook and I had 8 inboxes, and each one of those messages were from people that knew me. They said, how much do you charge for your coaching? What can I pay you to teach me how to do this? And I'm like, people actually will pay me to teach them how to do this? And that was kind of the birth of the coaching side of things, where I was able to charge an even more premium price because I was getting people fantastic results, still to this day, the same thing. But that's where the lid was then taken off, where I'm like, okay, I can help people really fill the gaps and the holes in the aspect of their business that they have right now, which is not having enough organic and genuine connections, not generating enough leads, not acquiring enough clients to move the needle of their business forward, but also having a content strategy on this platform where you're not selling, you're not pitching, you're educating and informing. And that was kind of the basis, I would say, the foundation of how it all began, that obviously brought me to where I am today.
I love this. I recently was guided over to LinkedIn and then came across you, and then, we met and we're sharing each other's podcasts, which is amazing. So help our listeners. If someone's like, LinkedIn, wait, what? I'm not looking for a job. What are their top 3 tips that you would give someone and say, this is why you should be on LinkedIn and here's what you should do?
Well, to that point, yes. At one point, LinkedIn was for people looking for a job and recruiters looking for people who were looking for a job. But when Microsoft bought out LinkedIn about 9 years ago, they diversified the platform. So there's actually 3 platforms in one. So there is LinkedIn, which is the regular platform. There's Recruiter, which is for people that recruit other people for jobs. And then there's Sales Navigator, which is for certain sales positions that are looking to generate sales B2B, B2C. So we're not talking about Sales Navigator or Recruiter. We're talking about LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is now space for business professionals to position themselves as the experts in their space through different means. And I would say the first mean is being a content creator, as I mentioned, that educates and informs your audience on a topic, a subject, or specific business skill that people need to know, that once they learn your specific strategy could obviously be implemented into their business to get a desired result. The second aspect is networking. And I think this is the lifeline to any business, much like how you and I connected on LinkedIn. We're considered power partners. And for those that don't know what that means, that means people that can water each other's businesses, right? So, Jennifer came on my podcast and, is watering my audience. Now guesting on her podcast, watering her audience. It's a way to grow a business together. So every single person, no matter what you do from a professional perspective, you have a power partner where you can water each other's businesses, where someone's going to hear your message, whether it's you guesting on a podcast or just having a general networking conversation, where you're forming referral partners. So if you're in conversation and a certain topic comes up, now you're going to have all these different people to refer people to, so you're growing your business organically. And I would say the third means is really positioning your personal brand. And this is what I love most about LinkedIn, is that also when Microsoft bought them out, they allow us to optimize our LinkedIn profile much like the homepage to a website. So when you really optimize your LinkedIn profile the right way, not only will you appear in more searches on LinkedIn, you'll have more profile visits on LinkedIn, but also your profile will be more easily searchable on the larger search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing. So if I would kind of streamline that message into the top 3 tips of what people need to do on LinkedIn, it would be number 1, first optimize your profile. If your profile is not being seen, if it's not being visible, if it's not attracting the right people to it, much like a website, nothing else is going to work on LinkedIn, because your content isn't going to get engagement because it's landing on the wrong eyes. And if it's landing on the wrong eyes, guess what? They're not going to resonate with it, which means they're not going to engage with it. So really taking the time to build out and fill out your profile from that, what I call the passenger side perspective, the person on the other side of the screen. If you're looking to attract an ideal client or a power partner, what is the message that I'm looking to convey with my LinkedIn profile? What keywords? Because again, we're talking about search engine optimization, right? So we're not talking about key phrases. We're talking about keywords. What keywords do I need to have in my headline, in my about section, in my experience section, that when that passenger side perspective is using the search engine, is punching something into the search, my profile will populate. That's the mindset of where you need to be. You need to think about, how are people going to find me? What keywords do I need to scatter all across my profile that will allow it to populate? Once you have your profile optimized, the rest of the layers fall into place. And the second tip, much like what I talked about earlier, is building your ideal network. And this is the one thing that people end up doing. I call it spraying and praying, right? They just connect with anyone and everyone, hoping that they're a good fit for whatever their offering is or whatever connection they want to have with them. That's not how you want to do things. You need to compartmentalize 2 types of connections. The first compartment is your ideal client. This is the person that you serve best with whatever offering, whatever program, course, coaching you have. It could be a product, it could be a good, it could be a service. But the people that you should be connecting with in that first compartment are the people that are best served by what you do. The second compartment is power partners, much like Jennifer and myself, seeking other relationships where you are vying for each other's businesses. Forming allies and partnerships will allow your business to grow organically, because you have people not so much going to bat for you, but again, if they're a natural networker like you are, They're going to be having a ton of conversations. And again, the topic of what you do may come up in those conversations, which makes it very easy for that person to refer business to you based on the connection that you formed with them. So building that ideal network. And I would say the third thing is providing value-added content. Now, I feel that there's a lot of people that consistently say, well, I don't know what to post. How often do I post? What should I say? So I break this down very, very simply for people. LinkedIn is one of those platforms where you do not have to post 3 times an hour or 3 times a day. 3 times a week, and you'll be doing more than 99% of the people on LinkedIn. And here's your strategy. You want to do a post on Monday, a post on Wednesday, and a post on Friday. Now, on Mondays, you want to do a piece of video content. This could be pre-recorded, 30 seconds up to 2 minutes. And this is basically just you hopping on there, giving a tangible tip or 2 or 3 of what your ideal audience can do to move the needle of their business in a positive direction. So it could be, 2 tips of how to get clarity on your ideal client. Tip number 1 is this, tip number 2 is that. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Comment below what your biggest takeaway was, and I'll see you next time. Very simple. Give without expecting anything back in return. So showing up on camera because people can see you, feel you, and hear you. On Wednesday, do a temperature check of your audience through market research, doing a LinkedIn poll. Now, there are a lot of people that use LinkedIn polls improperly. It's not for your place to ask people when they put up and take down their Christmas tree. It's not a place asking for people if they like cats or dogs. And it's not a place to ask people how they take their coffee with or without cream and sugar. Now, the way that you want to leverage the LinkedIn polls is asking relevant questions to answers that you want to know. So it could be as simple as, what is your biggest struggle in your business right now? Number 1, generating revenue. Number 2, generating clients. Number 3, generating leads. 4, other, comment below. What this is going to do, it's going to give you what I call content ammunition. It's going to give you a means to go back and look at that poll to see what your audience is voting. Now, if the most popular answer is they are having trouble generating leads, then what you can do is you can take that content ammunition from that market research poll, and on Friday, you can type out a long form post up to 3,000 characters, giving people 1, 2, or 3 tangible tips of what they can do to organically generate more leads on social media or whatever platform you're teaching on. So everything kind of works synergistically together. It's building the know, like, and trust, positioning yourself as the authoritative figure in your space, and showing up 3 different ways on the platform: video, market research, long form content. Those 3 things, optimizing your profile, building the right and ideal network, and then providing value-added content that educates and informs your audience, is going to position you not only as the expert in your space, but it's going to get you the traction that you do want on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, Scott. I mean, can we have a mic drop right there? Like, that's everything. That's everything and a bag of chips. Thank you for that. And I hope that everyone, you need to pause, replay, take your notes, because this was huge. And I thank Scott for sharing all of that. So we are coming to the time in the show where I ask this one question. Are you prepared for this question,
Yes,
Scott?
always.
What is one thing that no one knows about you?
I mean, people that don't know me, I would say the one thing that they do not know is I was a huge hippie back in the day. I used to follow a band called Phish starting in 1995. And I've been to almost 90 Phish shows in my concert career. And it was a great time in my life. We used to do the mail order tickets, and my buddy Alex and I, we would pick a starting point. We would drive down to Atlanta, Georgia, and just go up the coast and see as many shows as we could. And it was a great time in my life, a lot of wonderful memories. And, people that see me now couldn't really picture me in that aspect. But yeah, that's a little known fact that I was a really big Phish head back in my my teens and 20s.
How fun. I might have been to a couple of shows out in Colorado.
I mean, Red Rocks is one of the ultimate places to see any show, not just Phish.
Absolutely. Oh, this has been so amazing, Scott. I am so grateful for you being here today. Will you share where our community can best reach you?
Yeah. So if you go to my website, scottaaron.net, there's actually a free gift. It's actually 6 steps to optimizing your profile. And then there's actually a secondary gift where it's called the 5 layers of LinkedIn. If you use the coupon code 5 layers, the number 5, and then layers, all one word at checkout, it actually gives you free access to this $197 course for absolutely free. So you get the infographic, you get the free course, and also you can find me on LinkedIn. That's a great place to connect with me. I do 2 free trainings a week, every Monday and Thursday between 10 and 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So definitely check me out.
That is wonderful. Scott, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your heartfelt journey that you're sharing with us. So many valuable tips and inspirational moments that you've shared today. Thank you so very much for taking some time away from your family today.
Well, appreciate you, and thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Well, as we say, until next time.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Empowered Within with Jennifer Pilates. Your feedback is important. It helps me to connect with you and gives me insight into who you are and what you're enjoying about the show. For today's show notes and discount codes from today's sponsors, head over to jenniferpilates.com. Until next time, may you live an empowered life from within.